Can share a joke because that's why you see why must interviews be like an interrogation?
What's up, Aventis Film? You are listening to the third season of Aventis Knows. Now, this show is brought to you by AventisLearning Group. I'm your host, 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲, and for those of you trying to find your way around the corporate ocean or trying to hashtag up your game with a career, this is where you should be. Now, you're probably listening to this episode and wondering, did I do my resume right? Or maybe you don't even know where to start. Don't worry, we're going to get you through it in the next few minutes. Our guest for today is an organizational consultant with a distinguished career in strategic leadership and coaching that spans over 2 decades. He is Dr. Christopher Fong. Hi, Dr. Fong.
Hi.
We're so glad to
Morning.
have you with
Thank
us
you.
today. Would you like to tell us more about yourself? Maybe your career as a career coach,
Okay. Wow. Okay. Almost 30 years. Okay. I think it all starts with letter C. I started my career as a conductor, a symphony orchestra conductor. And then I became a clinician. And then I became a consultant. And this whole 3 C's adds up to about 30 years.
Clinician meaning what?
Clinician?
Yeah, what do clinicians do?
Okay, I was after I left the orchestra, I came back to Singapore. I became a clinician trained to diagnose mental health issues. Yeah, so my clients were specifically addicts.
So before we get off to a start, is there something that we should set our minds to before we apply for the job, sending in the resume?
Okay, all right. I think it's good to know what is the current and emerging trends in the workforce. What is the future of work? Especially, we're moving to a digital economy. How does digitalization affect your type of role? Or in fact, in every role. Yeah. In every industry. So get to have some information, background information, network. Read up on trends. To find out now what's happening. What's the happenings out there in the workplace. Yeah,
because right now it's really changing very fast. So let's be honest, Dr. Fong. Do you think it is possible for us to get hired even before we meet the recruiter? Like after they see the resume, they're like, okay, I want this person.
Okay. About, let's say 100%, 25% will be shortlisted. The rest, no. Okay, yeah. So what's the reason, right?
Yeah.
I think it's about finding the people with the right skills, the right type of skills. When we talk about skills, we're talking about the 21st century skills, hard skills, soft skills, and also, of course, experience.
So people will look more at experience first before the maybe the certificates, the accomplishments and everything. Okay.
Yes. I mean, even like people who are just coming to the workforce, the graduates, okay, you'll be very surprised. I mean, I gave a talk recently to the 5 polytechnics. Things like, what kind of projects you did in poly? When you went overseas, for example, did you do leadership? Did you take on the leadership role? What kind of projects did you do? Because projects include finance. Okay, so did you manage finance? Did you manage people? How do you manage projects? So these are what we call, if you can put it into like a portfolio. Okay, these are the kind of things which the interviewers want to see.
So do you have any tips for us to remember on whenever we write down a resume, right? Is there a certain structure to it that we can remember?
Yes, like many of the kind of public workshops which I conduct, I came out with a sort of like a mental model. Okay, it's called PEDAR, PEDAR. Okay, so the whole CV should be written in a very structured form. P meaning first, of course, your personal data. Okay, today we don't really put your photo there. We put maybe say a QR code. To show that you're internet, you are tech savvy. Okay, that's the P, personal data. Then the E will be more your executive summary. So most recruiters would have only 6 seconds to look at your executive summary. All right, and we pick up keywords. okay, in the executive summary. D will be more your detail, career history, you know, where you've been working, how long you've been working there, what kind of job role you took, okay. And then A will be your accomplishments, your achievements, you know, what kind of achievements you did for the company, from a professional and a personal as well. Maybe you went to do a degree, you know, and how did that degree or a professional certification help with your role, your current role in the company. And of course, R will be your references. You know, if you could give somebody who could vouch for you, that'll be good. So it's called 𝗟𝗸𝗲.
Okay. So when we write a resume, do you think it's better to be more generalized or specific?
It depends. It depends on the role you're applying for. Of course, this day in the future of work, we are looking more for, you know, like a 60% of soft skills, 40% hard skills. And especially, you know, if your resume or your CV gets shortlisted for an interview, okay, I think at the first interview, the recruiters definitely want to see your soft skills. Okay.
So that's when they arrange for an interview to actually observe your soft skills?
Yes, you know, they want to see, you know, of course, you definitely have the hard skills, not they won't call for you for an interview. So more like, you know, your people skills, problem solving skills, your EQ, empathy, your interpersonal relationships, you know, collaborative skills, soft skills.
So whenever a recruiter takes a look at a resume, right, what's the first thing that is an immediate turn off when you look at it?
Structure.
Yeah. So if it's not like according to maybe like the 𝗟𝗸𝗲 format. Yeah,
𝗟𝗸𝗲 format, or you know, you'll be very surprised. You know, many CVs which I've seen, okay, they've got, you know, funny kind of like pictures like grass, flower. Yes, you know.
So they just decorate.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be a professional CV, but you know, they have all these sort of things, and there are too many columns. You know, and very it's not neat. Yeah.
So just better to keep it into like one.
Yeah. Yeah, and then put, especially is a CV, you know, the most important thing, we only got 6 seconds to read a CV. So put it very succinctly in bullet point, you know, keep your sentences very short and sharp. Okay. Yeah.
So just now when you mentioned keywords that recruiters look out for whenever they read the executive summary, what are some keywords that you can, you know, advise us to use?
Okay, you're talking about hard skills or soft skills?
Okay, we start with soft skills first.
Okay, soft skills. Okay. Soft skills would be collaboration. Okay, you always see this coming up, collaboration. Whether you're a good communicator, effective communicator. These things are usually in all job descriptions would have. Yeah. Okay, collaboration, communication, team player, okay, critical thinking, okay, problem solving skills. Last but not least, of course, how do you negotiation skills? Yeah.
Okay.
Soft skills.
Then in terms of like hard skills.
Yeah, usually hard skills would be more, of course, your certifications. You know, what kind of technical certifications you have, you know, certain programs you use, like let's say today digital, you know, we talk about Python, you know, SQL and all these kind of things. So these kind of certifications of programs, you know, which you softwares, you know, which you use.
So there was this one, while researching for like how to write a resume, right? They mentioned something about an applicant tracking system.
Yes,
Could you share more about it?
Yeah. Don't be too fearful about the ATS, because usually if it's for ATS, right, it will be more for more generic roles where a lot of people will apply. Okay, so those kind of roles where a lot of people will apply, then we need a system to help the recruiters. Yeah. Okay, because if it's going to be like 300 CVs, you need a system to help you. Yeah. All right. If it's a role that doesn't, because like 300 applicants, you don't need an ATS system. Now, an ATS system is also, it's just a system where you need to sort of put some coding, some keywords that the system can track. Yeah. Okay, so the ATS system, some company will use it for certain roles. Okay, the system is there just to sieve out, like you say, like keywords, which I did mention. Yeah. So like keywords, I just mentioned like collaborative, you know, team player, communication. All right. If it's hard skills, then for the certain role, okay, we will key in these kind of softwares which the person must be able to know how to use. So we key in these sort of things into the ATS system.
So it's not something that we should be panicky about.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's just for recruiters to handle more volumes of
Yeah,
applicants.
that's right. So
Okay.
even though the ATS system may reject some resumes and CVs, right? The recruiters still look at those kind of CVs that's been rejected as well.
Just to see if they missed out
yeah,
anything.
that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So usually when I see like job applications, people sending in, right? They often ask for like resume, sometimes cover letter. Is it actually needed?
Not compulsory. I mean, the cover letter is just like writing in email. Okay, to say that you have this updated CV attached. Okay, I'm keen to apply for this role. Okay, attached is a updated CV for your perusal. Okay, for your viewing. I'd like to hear from you at your earliest convenience. Yeah, because a cover letter should not be the same like your CV. But then there's no differentiation here. Yeah.
So a cover letter it's not the same as a CV.
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm getting a bit confused.
Yeah, exactly. You see. Yeah. So these days, I don't think people ask so much for a cover letter anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a cover letter is basically just informing the recruiter that you're sending in your resume.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That you have the right skills for this job. Okay. For further detail, please look at the attachment.
Oh,
yeah.
It's the same as just like
it's normal email. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like whenever we write down in a resume, right? Is it needed to input our previous salary?
Okay. Very tricky question. All right. Before you put your salary, see that you do your homework. Okay. Look at what is being paid at market rate, the salary, and give a range. Don't put specific. Okay. That means sometimes they may ask you what kind of salary are you looking for, the remuneration. Okay. Don't put specific. Put a range. Let's say like 2005-3000. Don't put 2005 so specific. Yes. So 2005-3000. But do your homework to find out what is market paying for this role.
So like, what if they ask us like face to face, like how do we tackle that question then?
Yeah, so that's why you say that based on market rate, okay, I'm looking at this range to this range.
So just now you mentioned about inputting like a QR code in your resume.
Yes.
What does that QR code lead to?
Okay, so putting a QR code is in replacement of a photo. All right, there's no right and wrong here.
Yeah.
But putting a QR code sort of helps the recruiter to go to somewhere where they need further information, like your LinkedIn. Yeah. Because your CV has only, by right, all CV should be only 2 pages. Okay, and you cannot write a lot of things in 2 pages, right?
Yeah.
So if I want more information, where can I get to, right? So there's a QR code. So the QR code leads me to somewhere I can find more detail.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say like it should be only 2 pages long, right? And I know like when we submit a resume, it's pretty much professional looking.
Yes.
Okay, this is like a bit weird of a question, but should it be like front and back, or should it be 2 separate pages?
Yeah. So your executive summary should be about maybe just about 1.5 paragraph. And then your career history should be already at that first page already.
On the first page?
Yes, on the first page. I mean, half of that page, right, should be your career history already.
Okay. That whole career history chunk on the first page.
Yeah, usually people put career history on the second page. But because now you only have 2 pages, so you try to keep your executive summary very short. Okay, and then executive is already half of that first page already.
So let's say we do get shortlisted after sending in our resume. Is there some like steps that we should take after we get shortlisted?
Yeah, so I think it's about how you prepare for your interview. Okay, I think the first interview is very important. And in psychology, okay, say what you like, interviews are very psychological based. Okay, it's about first impression.
Yeah.
Okay, people, the recruiters are looking at your visuals. Okay, your verbatim, the way you talk. Okay, your non-verbal cues, your verbal cues. Okay, and very important, I do tell many of my learners, video yourself. Okay, learn to video yourself. Yeah, and practice. You need to do a lot of practice. Don't practice during the interview.
Then practice answering the questions? Or?
Yes, put the questions right in front. I mean, you can actually download all the interview questions. There are a lot of interview questions there on Google. Okay, so just go through those interview questions, but video yourself. I think more important is look at yourself and watch how you answer those questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say we're hit with like a very tricky question by the recruiter. Maybe they ask something along the lines of, why should we hire you? Maybe.
Yes.
How do we answer that without sounding like very
Correct, yes.
arrogant
Yeah.
or putting yourself out there, you know?
Yeah. Okay. I get these questions a lot from my my coaches as well. Okay. I think it's about sometimes very culture based. Okay. Singaporeans are not very daring enough. Okay. Now you cannot decide how your interviewers want to view you or think about you. But as long as you come across very confident. So when the question comes, why should this role be given to you? Why should this role be given to you? I do tell my learners to be very bold. And says, because I'm the best.
Just straight up, because I'm the best.
I'm the best.
Okay.
Because really, honestly, if you have that daringness, the audacity to even say that I'm the best, you'll be the only one to be saying that among, let's say, 50 interviewees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like in this culture, in Singapore's culture especially, not a lot of people dare to say
correct.
that.
I think maybe if it's a Westerner, the Westerner will come very, very boldly. But for Singapore, I think you'll be the only one. And it will take the interview by surprise. And these kind of questions, these are very what we call assertive questions, answers rather, okay, leave a mark, okay, to the interviewers. They will not forget you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the case where maybe they ask us, what is, so in the case they ask, why would you choose us, our company?
Yeah.
Okay. Then instead of just blasting out whatever you know about the company, what are some places that we can focus on regarding the company?
Okay. Maybe I give you a tip or two. Okay. Interview is what we call, it's time for pitching. You must pitch yourself already.
Yeah.
Okay. What sometimes in America they call it the elevator pitch. Okay. I came out an acronym called PITCH. Okay. P for personality. Okay. I for insights. T for talent. C for communication. H for hungry.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the personality. The first 5 questions is all about your personality. Can you describe yourself to us? Why you? What do you know about us? Tell us some of your pet peeves. Tell us some of your strengths and weaknesses. You see, the first 5 questions is all about you. And very importantly, these first 5 questions are very key because don't fake the questions. Don't fake your answers rather. Okay. Come very authentic.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Because it can come out, you see, that you know you're faking it.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Yeah.
So maybe, okay, like what if we try to like share a joke, but it's actually not that funny?
But
how do we laugh it off?
You can share a joke, because that's why you see, why must interviews be like an interrogation, like investigation?
That's true.
Right? It's a meet you session.
Yeah.
You know, unless you are coming with the intent that you must get the job, then everything is very pressurizing for you. Come as if you know that, I'm here to get to know you. I need to know you first before I can give you the job.
Okay.
You know, so about being likable, I want to know that you're likable. Okay, you're funny, right? You got such a pleasant personality. I think that sells already. You know, as opposed to, you're trying to be so uptight that, I must try to meet all the questions, the perfect answer. But there's no perfect answers,
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So after personality,
then come insights. Okay, so now the insights would be, what do you know about us? What do you know about industry? What are the trends happening in our industries? Okay, and so now that you tell us about the trends, what can you now contribute to this role if this role was given to you? So the insights, I mean, you need to do some homework. Yeah. Okay, about the industries. Okay, and some more the company as well. Go to the company's website. Look at the company's website. Okay, is the company losing money, making money? Who's the new CEO? Who's the new boss? Sometimes even go to the LinkedIn to check who's your recruiter as well. Okay. You can find out who your recruiter is. So after personality, insights. Now we talk about talent. So now the talents part is we put into like a situational questions. Like, can you tell us some of your challenges? your challenges, and some complex issues that you face in your line of work, you know, in your previous job as well. So this part here is you really have to show your skills and your talent out with it. This is really your pitch. You really got to sell. Okay. And then we definitely also want to know questions like this is where we throw a spanner over to you to say that, you know, what is the most challenging, okay, thing to resolve and manage? And actually, the back in mind of the question, we hope to hear your answer called people.
Really?
Yes, we want you to mention people.
Like what? Like example of an answer?
So the question would be, can you tell us what is one very challenging thing, okay, that you had to resolve or manage as a manager or in the workplace? Then your answer would be people. People are very difficult to manage. Yes,
yeah, they are.
They are.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to fix computers, you know, processes, but people are very tough, right? Because people got very different characters, personalities, you know. So how do you manage? Because in our company also, we got people who are, you know, idiotic, okay, weird personalities.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not a perfect company. So how do you manage when you have this sort of people? You know, and especially in Singapore now, a very global workforce, we have people from different countries.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you manage people of different cultures?
That's true.
Okay, so that's talent. Yeah, so the talent part here, the third one, you really got to show up your skills, you know, your problem solving skills, you know, especially people.
So, but then like we cannot like put it in a way that we're complaining about having to go through that challenge.
Yeah,
okay.
and of course, you know, of course you share the problems. Okay, do share. It's okay to share, you know, issues where the problem was not resolved. Okay, because some problems cannot be solved.
Yeah.
All right, but the most importantly is what have you learned from that problem?
Okay.
Okay, of course everybody want to hear good things.
Yeah.
But it's okay to share the bad things. Okay, because that's more convincing. Okay, so if you share those bad things, no problem. But what have you learned from those bad things that you now can bring over to this role if we hire you?
So it appears more authentic that you are really ready to learn.
Yes.
Okay. So after talent will be communication.
Okay, so now, okay, this will be the overall. How do you come across during interview? Okay, I always tell my clients, my coaches, okay, to use like a personality test, okay, so that you know how to gauge your interview's personality, because each personality has a way of communicating. So if you don't speak what your interviewer wants, then the battle is lost already. Okay. Because that's not what your interviewer wants to hear.
That's true. So, but then what if they don't show that personality trait in their LinkedIn? How do we actually like find out?
Very good question. Usually this type of personality of a certain trait, right, will gravitate into a certain type of role. Okay. For example, let's say like the introverts, for example, right? All right, they will not take sales and marketing. Yeah. Okay. Introverts will usually go into like banking, you know, back end, finance, audit, something where they are more individual contributing. They are not very people kind of, you know, introverts. Extroverts, okay, are the sales and marketing. Okay, your receptionist out there. All right, people who have to do sales. Okay, so you already can gauge. Right? Okay. Yeah.
So after we actually identify that maybe like this trait, then it's much easier to answer that question.
Yeah, you align to what they want to hear.
Okay.
Yes. So like extrovert, they're not very into details. Yeah. They don't like.
So they want to know more of your voice. Yeah. Like what is it that you stand for and stuff like that. Okay.
I think the disaster when your interviewer says, no, that was not what I was asking. Oh, wow, that one will be.
Yeah. How do you actually pick yourself back up from there?
They say, oh, I'm sorry, maybe you could help me to clarify.
Okay.
Yeah, just to save the situation. Yeah.
Okay. Then so after communication will be
H. Hunger. So how hungry are you for this role?
Okay.
Yeah. So the question will be, why do you want this role? And how will this role align to your career objectives, your goals?
So from there, like maybe under hunger, it's where we really have to Is it like our second chance in selling ourselves, or
Yes, all the way.
all the way?
This is
Okay.
all the way now.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for listening all the way till the end. As usual, if you guys do have any topics or suggestions you'd like us to know about, feel free to tap on our DMs on Instagram at AventisLearning. That's all we have for now, and we'll catch you next week. Bye!